good, Griffin13 here back in today, and today guys we are here for all the brand new and returning cars coming to Forza Horizon 4 with Series 20. Playground Games has just finished their live stream, and I'm going to go ahead and list off every single car that you're going to be able to get this upcoming season. We are getting 3 brand new cars, and honestly, they are 3 pretty awesome cars. I think a lot of you guys are going to be very excited about these. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. So starting things off, what we have is our series rewards. Coming in at 50% completion, we have the Mclaren 600 LT, which is a track version of the 570S. Now the thing with this car is it kind of falls into that same category as, you know, for example, you have the 488 Fiesta and the Performante. It's an upgraded version of a car that already exists. Now there are some significant changes that were done to this, such as a reroute of, you know, the exhaust. Instead of the exhaust coming out the back, it's now actually coming out of the, I don't know, what do you call a hood on a mid-engine car? They come out of that and they point right at the spoiler, so they actually had to make, you know, some like heat-resistant carbon fiber specifically for that car because of the exhaust having the potential to shoot some flames. But then coming in at 80% completion, we have the Ferrari 250 TR. Now this is the Testarossa. It is normally $10 million over in the auto show, but you're actually going to be able to pick it up absolutely free just for completing 80% of the entire Series 20. So that is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's not the only $10 million car that we have got this week, or not this week, this month. So bear that in mind. I'll get to that here in a little bit. But after that, we move on into summer, which will go live this upcoming Thursday, March 12th, and last until March the 19th. Coming in at 50% completion, we have our first brand new car of the series, which is the Mclaren Speedtail. Honestly, this thing is an absolute beast. I think it's kind of, how do you say, I don't like how it looks. Like, a lot of people are going to be like, "Grr, it's a Speedtail, it's such a nice looking car." It is very, very striking. I didn't say that it wasn't a striking car. I just don't like how it looks. I don't like how they've got the front covers on the front wheels, which is all about aerodynamics. It doesn't have any wing mirrors. Instead, you know, it actually uses rear view cameras that are inside the car. That way, you know, it doesn't have drag on the mirrors and all that sort of stuff. And as well, I think it looks like a ramp. It looks like a ramp, or it looks like it's about to take off. It looks weird to me. I even made some memes on it back in the day when I first heard about this car. It's just, I don't like how this car looks. It is an absolutely amazing car with a limited top speed of 250 miles per hour. If this was 2010, holy shit, that would have been the fastest damn car in the world. Because I think, what, the Bugatti Veyron was like 251 or something like that. Unlimiting the speed of this, who knows how fast it could possibly go. And I believe it reaches like 186 miles per hour in just 13 seconds. 13 seconds to 186. It's bonkers. It's maddening. It is absolutely maddening. But it does play homage back to the McLaren F1, as this car is going to be a mid-seater. Then moving on into 80% completion, you have the McLaren 720S Spider. This car is actually worth a whopping $6 mil over in the auto show right now. I also forgot to mention the 600 LT is worth $16 million. Holy hell. We are going to be getting some very, very expensive, very rare cars this month. Honestly, this month, if you're missing out on some of the cars in your collection, there are probably going to be quite a few of these. Then we move on into our seasonal co-op trial event. We're able to pick up the Hoonigan RS200, which isn't really worth a whole lot, but honestly, it has become like one of the #1 used like playground games cars. Like every single week when we do our playground games events, like there's at least 2 or 3 people using a Hoonigan RS200. Then we have our seasonal playground games. We're able to pick up the 2018 Honda Civic Type R, which is also worth a staggering $16 million. It is a damn expensive car. I did not realize. I love this Civic Type R. I love the fact that they finally brought it to the United States, but the other thing about it, though, the only thing I hate really about it is that it's not all-wheel drive. Now, people who drive it say it doesn't matter, it's still a fun car to drive. You don't miss the all-wheel drive with this thing because of how the suspension is and how the car is worked out. But for me, I want it to be all-wheel drive. That way I can take it off-road if I need to, because even though it is front-wheel drive, you know, most people are going to keep them on the road. I live in a rural area. There's a lot of gravel roads, and I don't want to be driving this front-wheel drive car up a mountain on some gravel roads, have it start slipping and all that good stuff. I just don't want that. But absolutely love the design of this car. I really think it is probably one of the best looking Civics that we have ever had. Besides like the 90s model, like the late 90s model. Ooh, I do love that design. I absolutely do. Then we move on into our first seasonal championship next day delivery, where we'll pick up a Plymouth Fury, which I accidentally auctioned mine off. I'm sad about that. So at least I'll be able to get one next week. But I had my drift tune on and I don't know if I had that saved. So I'm a little sad about that. I accidentally hit the wrong button, checking prices. It's worth only $1 mil. So please, nobody buy it. It's only got an hour. Don't buy it, please, and thank you. Then we have Handle with Care, where you'll be able to pick up a Ferrari F50, which is worth 2 million credits over in the auto show, so not very expensive right there. And then finally, we have a chance at picking up the BMW Z4, or Z4 for those of you guys over in Europe. Now this car, of course, everyone knows it as basically a BMW version of the Toyota Supra, because that's exactly what it is, or the Toyota Supra's a Toyota version of the BMW Z4. I really don't know, but that's actually pretty expensive at 8 mil. Last time I had checked, they weren't worth damn. But now they're finally actually getting up there in price, which is pretty nice. I'm very happy to see that. Then we move on into autumn, which will last from March 19th through March the 26th. And coming in at a 50% completion, we have the TVR Sagaris Forza Edition. But it's a Forza Edition, so yeet that shit out of here. Nobody really cares about it. Although I will say this is one of the more expensive Forza Editions. It is worth more than 1 million credits, but that is because it is relatively difficult to get. I am sure that after next, or not next week, in 2 weeks when this car is made available, price of this is just going to plummet. It's going to be worth less than dirt. It is going to be absolutely nothing. But then we move on into our 80% completion, and you have the Lamborghini Diablo GTR. So this is a, I don't think it's a track only version, but it is a track version essentially of a regular Lamborghini Diablo. We've had this car in Forza Motorsport 7, I think is when it was first released, and then we got it as an additional car later on here in Horizon 4. Then we go into our seasonal co-op trial event, which is going to be giving us the Mercedes-Benz X-Class. Honestly, I didn't know this car was getting up there either. It is worth a staggering 13 million credits. I remember selling a bunch of these for less than $1 mil, and I'm heartbroken. I don't need the money, though. I'm sitting with 452 million at the moment, but still, oh, some people got some really good deals back in the day. And for our seasonal playground games, you have the 1996 Chevrolet Impala, which apparently they added a police front bumper for. So that is something very interesting. I didn't know if they actually added that during Series 19 or if that's new for Series 20, but I'm definitely going to have to go ahead and throw that on because that is cool. I want a bull bar on every car. I think every car should have the option to put a bull bar on it. That way you can turn it into a rally build if you want to. You know, I think every car should be able to be lifted, have a bull bar, and like some lights or something like that, just to turn it into a rally car. Or, you know, as well, it should be able to have like a splitter and side skirts and a wide body kit. I think Forza should work on that. Make more upgrade parts for every single car. Then we move on into our first set of championships, and coming in on our first one is Packing a Punch. We're able to pick up the AMC Rebel the Machine. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about this car. Also, don't really know a whole lot about AMC, but the Rebel is a big boy. He is a big boy. The other AMCs that we have is like the Gremlin, which is so tiny, especially for a classic American car like that. But it is worth 5 million credits over in the auction house. After that, we have Pizza Boy. Pizza time, where you'll be able to pick up the Vauxhall Corsa VXR, which ain't worth a damn over in the auction house right now. So honestly, it's kind of one of our worst cars for this week. But then finally, we have a brand new car in our seasonal championship, Colt Courier. We're able to pick up the 1933 Napier Railton. Now this is a one-of-one car with a 24-liter W12 airplane engine. A 24-liter W12 airplane engine. This thing is an absolute beast. They were driving around in the Playground Games live stream, and it sounds glorious. It has got that airplane sound to it. Like, you honestly are going to feel like you're driving an airplane around. That is exactly what this car is going to do. Supposedly, this car has been in, I don't know really how to word it, but it's supposed to have been in this game since the start. Originally, it was actually planned to be one of the cars that you drive in the opening scene when you first get into Forza Horizon 4. When you go through all the seasons and you finally get to the last one, you were supposed to be in the Napier Railton. However though, that didn't happen. The Napier Railton could have basically been a third cover car, but it did not happen. It would have been absolutely brand new to the game, and in my honest opinion though, kind of glad it kind of got held off, because I'm not a big fan of the open wheel drivers, and it would have been relatively slow. So I mean, it's only got like what, probably 200 horsepower, and it's 4 freaking tons. Like, it is a big heavy boy. You know, he needs to lose a little bit of weight. But honestly, I would have loved to have seen it at the beginning of the game, to be honest. I really would have. It has the fast lap around the Brooklyn circuit, and that is mostly because the Brooklyn circuit no longer is open. And as well, it was handmade, so when you actually look at this car in the game, you'll be able to see all like the hammer divots from where they made the metal and formed it by hand. So that is really cool, and I absolutely love this car. I'm not a big fan of the open wheel cars, but the design of this thing, it's got me. We're gonna have to see what all we can do to this car once it gets into the game. Then we move on to Winter, and we have another brand new car to start things off with 50% completion. Winter is going to last from March the 26th all the way into April, and I don't know what day in April, but it's going to be April the 2nd. Yeah, I had to open up my calendar for that one. But we get another brand new car, which is the Toyota 2000 GT. Honestly, guys, this car I didn't realize was as rare as it actually is. They only made 351 of these, and Toyota lost money on every single one of them. The one cool thing about this, though, is that if you were to have bought one of these back in the day and not bought an E-Type, oh my god, you'd probably be so happy, because other cars back in the day, like, this thing is just gone through the roof in value, where other, like, sports cars from its time period, like the E-Type, you know, they're expensive, but they're not nearly as expensive as this thing is, because this was a poster car for a lot of people, because the body styling was so cool. And then as well, it was even used in a James Bond movie, and in this movie they had to make 2 different convertibles because supposedly Sean Connery doesn't fit. He didn't fit into the car, so they had to make convertibles so he could actually fit. That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Somebody couldn't fit into a car, so they had to make it a convertible just for them. That is absolutely amazing. But then we move on into an 80% completion, and we have the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR, which is available over in the auto show for 2 million credits, so you can pick that up at any time. But hey, you get a free one for doing 80% of this month's challenge, or this week's challenge in Winter. Then you move on into the seasonal co-op trial event, and you have the Maserati Tipo Birdcage, again also available in the auto show at 2.4 million. And then finally we actually get into a car that is worth a damn, and this is going to be in our seasonal playground games, where you'll be able to pick up the Mini Countryman, which, holy hell, I didn't realize this car was as expensive as it is. It is worth a staggering 12 million at this point, which is honestly crazy for what is essentially just a really big Mini that, you know, your mom probably drives. I mean, that's what this thing is. It's not like a really sporty car. It's essentially an SUV. It's just a really big Mini Cooper. That's all this car is, and it is rare, so I mean, that's really what's driving up the price. Then we get into our first championship, which is this side up, where you can win an emote. Let's yeet the hell out of here. It is the back spring emote. Then we get into Neither Rain Nor Sleet, where you can pick up the Citroen DS3 Racing, although in this game Citroen is not a brand, so just the DS3 Racing, which is worth 2 million, so it's really not worth too terribly much, you know, but it still got some value to it. Honestly, I sold a bunch of these too for like 800,000. Like, you know, 2 million though, I can eat that one. I can eat that one. But dang, with that what was it that I was talking about earlier? Was it the Mercedes-Benz X-Classes? Oh, that one hurts. That one hurt just a little bit. But then finally we have Ice Truckers. We're able to pick up the BMW M3 GTR, which is worth 12 million as well. So in this week, you're going to be able to get 2 $12 million cars, the Mini Countryman and the BMW M3 GTR. So if you have them, you may want to go in and sell them before we get into Winter. Then finally we move on into spring, which will last from April the 2nd through April the 9th. And coming in at 50% completion, we're starting things off with the Koenigsegg 1-1. So the Koenigsegg 1-1, of course, is an extremely fast car, but it is available in the auto show for $2.8 million. So really, I wish they wouldn't have made it a 50% completion reward. I honestly kind of wish they would have made the trial reward 50% completion, because, you know, everybody can already get this car for free. And then at 80% completion, we have another auto show car, which is the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale. Now, this is a $10 million car, so this is our second $10 million car of this series, which is pretty awesome. We don't really see a whole lot of $10 million cars make their way into these series. And of course, those are two of the $10 million cars that I don't own yet. So I'm actually very, very, very excited. But then we have our seasonal trial event where you'll be able to pick up the Mercedes-Benz GT4. So what this is, it's a four-door version of the Mercedes GT, and honestly, it is extremely powerful, but it cannot keep it in a straight line. It is very, very difficult to do so, but it's worth $13 million. So if you've got one, by the time we get to spring, you'll probably want to have got rid of it, especially if you plan on doing the trial event. Now, the trial event may actually end up being tricky, so who knows, you may want to hang on to that car. You know, for me, I don't always do the trials or the playground games, which is where the rare cars actually are during this series, because we got the Mercedes-Benz GT4, and our playground games reward this week is going to be the 94 Honda Prelude, which is worth $9 million. So right there, you're already at 21 million credits worth of cars. Absolutely crazy. And then we move on into Just in Time, which is our first seasonal championship in winter, or not winter, spring that is, and you'll be able to pick up the Hoonigan Fiesta, which is also very expensive. This is 16 million. So right there, you're up to 37 million credits, just right off the bat. You know, I keep getting asked a lot of times, like, Gur, how do you make all this money? How do you make all this money? Because I sell my cars. That's exactly what I do. All I do is just sell these cars before they show up again. That's all I do to make any money in this game. I've got so much of it that I'm just literally getting rid of the cars just so I can bring in the new version of the car so I can do the damn challenge. That's all I'm actually doing. Then we have our second seasonal championship, Pulling Power, which you'll be able to pick up the Gun Show emote, which it's another emote. Let's yeet it out of here. Then finally, we're ending on another Forza edition, unfortunately. In new arrivals, you'll be able to pick the Reventon Forza edition, which is worth about $2 million, so it is a little bit of a pricier Forza edition, kind of in the same boat as the TVR Sagaris, where it's a Car Master reward, but at the same time, this car has been given out several times now, so it's really not as special as it once was. Like, I remember the beginning of the game when nobody knew how to unlock these cars. Oh my god, people were price gouging the fuck out of these. Like, Jesus Christ, they were going for so much money. But as well, there are a couple of new updates that have come to the game. For example, I think, what was one of them? You're actually going to be able to go into your Creative Hub, find your designs and all that sort of stuff, and get a share code now. So that is pretty dope. I'm really excited about that. But we also do have a new story here. We have a new Horizon story. It's express delivery, where you're going to be delivering shit around, you know, the festival. I mean, that's all that's really to it. Unfortunately, though, we don't get any new cars as a reward. I think you get the GMC Bandura, the Ford Supervan, not the Supervan 3, just the regular Ford Supervan, and the Mini Traveler. That's all you get, but you do get a new outfit that looks like a UPS driver, so I guess I kind of a dumb story if you ask me, but I wanted to see like a brand new car of some kind. I thought that would have been really cool if we would have done that. But anyway, though, that is where we're going to wrap things up for today. Those are all the brand new and returning cars coming to Forza Horizon 4 in Series 20. Leave a comment down below and let me know which car are you guys most excited about, as I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. As well, if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at twitter.com/Care-Ferrari and Instagram.com/Care-Ferrari. And if you like this video, go make sure to hit that like button down below for us, because you guys already know your support is so greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe, more videos coming out all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Bye.
Say goodbye.